We took a restoration company in San Antonio to the #1 position in Google Maps in just 60 days, and they managed to pull in $120,000 in new revenue, no ads, no referrals, just Google Maps. All we did was a 6-step playbook that we've used across hundreds of local businesses in countless industries, and it is still working like a charm in 2026. So if you've been wanting to rank top 3 or #1 for the last few months, this will be the video for you. Because every week you're not in the top 3, all of those hundreds of calls are going to your competitors. If that happens for a whole month or 2 months, that's $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 worth of work that you could be getting siphoning to your competitors. And the moves that actually drive the needle aren't the one most SEO companies obsess over. And the first one isn't your website, it isn't your reviews, it's your address, because that is the thing that determines if Google puts you in the conversation or not. Your Google business profile needs an address, and where that address sits in your city is the single biggest determining factor for how you rank or how far you could rank. Let's use the example of roof replacement Houston. Google Maps is proximity weighted. The pin on the map matters as much as anything you put on your profile. Even if there are 300, 400 people a month searching for your target keyword, the vast majority of those searches are not going to be evenly spread, but concentrated in the larger population density areas. And the rest of the map is normally scraps. If there's 400 search volume in total for the month, 80% of it is going to be concentrated in one area, and the remaining 20% is going to be outside of that. So imagine a roofer who lives 45 minutes out of the metro. Great place to live, quiet suburb, terrible place to set up a profile. Because where his pin would be sitting is way on the other side of town of where 80% of the searches are actually taking place. He's competing for rankings he cannot physically reach. So step 1 is you have to find the zone. When choosing where to set up your profile, you don't want to just pick the nearest co-working space or just put a random cheap office. You want your competitors to tell you. Open Google Maps right now and type in the exact keyword you want to rank for. Let's say roofing company Houston, whatever yours is. Look at the top 3 ranked listings of that search, all of them together, not one at a time. Almost every one of those top 5 pins is going to map out a shape, a circle, a square, a line, whatever it is. That is Google telling you what the prime area and radius is to set up a profile. And whatever the center of that radius is where you want to set up your address. If the top 5 pins are sitting in a tight ring downtown and you take an office in a business park 8 miles east because the rent is 20% cheaper, you've already capped your ceiling because you've filled in a single field on the profile. You've already capped your ceiling before you've even started. 200 to 300 a month for a small unit in a shared building is normal in most metros. That is the cost of admission. Now, once you've got your address, you've got it right in the heart of your top 5 competitors. Now you need to get it verified. Google has been bombarded by spam recently, and so they have been extremely strict on setting up new profiles. So you need to follow their guidelines to a T. Once you get the keys to the office, you need to start setting it up. Put some signage in there, add some new posters, put signage on the door outside and internally. Get a laptop, put the company logo on the laptop screen, and fit out the entire room to look like you specifically operate out of there and it is a real address. Once you've done that, Google is going to prompt you to verify the profile. The way you want to do this is record a video showing the address outside, walking into the building, walking into your unit, using a key to unlock it, which is ticking the box of showing employee access, and then showing the office with signage and utilities to show that the business does operate out of there. Now, if verification does get messy or get denied, which isn't common, there are ways to trigger a live video chat where you can walk a Google user through the office and they can approve it, or to submit documentation images. If you'd like a separate video on how to trigger that, drop a comment. It's common your first attempt at a video will get denied, should be up by your second, and once you have that up, you're ready to start the groundwork. But if you get it wrong and set up an office way outside of where all of your top ranking competitors are, you're going to be pushing a rock uphill. Moving on to phase 2 is one single field on your profile name that makes all the difference. This is the business profile name. Now what most owners are going to do is fill this out with their legal company name, but this is a super easy mistake to make that is going to de-rank you compared to all your competitors. Now here's the thing that a lot of owners don't know about Google Maps. Google can't actually tell the difference if a user is searching for a business or if they're searching for a service. So when someone's searching roof replacement Houston, there's an opportunity for Google to think you are the search for roof replacement Houston. Surprisingly enough, the profile name is one of the most heavily weighted search aspects compared to everything else. If you have your target keyword in your business name, you are handing Google a direct signal to strengthen everything else you have on there. If you don't have that, Google is going to have a harder time piecemealing everything together from weaker information like your descriptions and your services. So the first way to know what we're going to do is we need to look for our competitors' names. Before you decide what to call yourself on Google, pull up Google Maps and search for what it is you want to rank for. Let's use the example again of roof replacement Houston. Pretty quickly, you'll notice a pattern. A lot of those top ranking companies have roof replacement, or roof replacement Houston in the business name. After looking at 10 or so listings, you're going to be able to find a common pattern of the most common words used in the business names. And whatever pattern you find with what phrases are most often mentioned, those go in your profile name. But here's the thing that most businesses who try and do this get wrong. They just stuff the keyword into the business name, hope for the best, and the profile gets suspended and you lose it for months. You see, you can't just go and stuff a keyword into your business name. Google's going to think it's spammy and suspend you. The cleanest way to do this is to get a DBA, or a doing business as name. A DBA is anything a business can register with the state, and it's separate from its legal entity. If you file Roofing Pros Roof Replacement Houston as a DBA, get the paperwork, you can then update your profile to match that exact query. Roofing Pros is still a legal entity, it's still the legal information for the bank, it just has a layer over top of what it does business as. And if you really want to strengthen this so that when you make the name change, you lower your risk of suspension, you can build citations with your new DBA name to the Google Business profile, sending clearer signals to Google, this is what the profile should be called. And to really show you guys how powerful it is to make this name change, we did the same thing for our restoration client in San Antonio. He had 200 plus reviews, more than any of his competitors, and he was still ranking below them. Once we made the switch to include his exact service and keyword, he skyrocketed into the top 3. And within, no word of a lie, 4 weeks, he closed a $50,000 job from this. So now we have a profile carrying the name. The issue is the internet doesn't really know you exist yet. So we need to fix that. Because it's a brand new profile and a brand new business in this example, Google has no context if you're real or not. Because right now, there's nothing backing up that Roofing Pros Roof Replacement Houston actually exists. And this is where citation building comes into play. So what actually is a citation? A citation is pretty much just a listing on the internet that details information about your business. You can think of something like the yellow pages as a physical citation. Now, Google uses citations, crawls them to check if businesses are actually real to back them up. And it uses this to give more relevance to businesses it trusts exists more. The thing with citations is they need to be consistent. If Google sees dozens of different citations for your business that has 2, 3, 4 different variations, it muddies the waters and Google can't really tell if you're real or not, and it's going to rank you lower. So if you have an existing profile, you're going to want to tidy these up, and if you don't, you're going to want to build new citations for your profile. Now, don't worry too much about this. We have tested it. Messy citations and inconsistent name, address, and phone number, the primary 3 things Google looks at, is not going to tank your results, but it is something you do want to be mindful of if you're struggling to rank. Now, setting up your new citations for your new name, what you want to do is you want to make sure they are all one for one. Make sure that your name targets the exact name you have in your business profile. Make sure that the address, if you have a suite, you're spelling it S-U-I-T-E rather than S-T-E, for example. You want to make sure everything is consistent across all of these. There are a few places you can go to purchase citations. Bright Local and things like Yext are always good basics. You want to aim for 30 to 50 different citations. These can be broad, generic ones that everybody is on, things like Yelp, and they can also be more industry-specific things related to your specific service. Now, where things get interesting is indexing. Indexing is a fancy way of saying that Google has seen and added to its knowledge base that a page or website exists. Once you publish a citation, a new page gets published. If that page isn't in Google's index, it won't do anything for your ranking. And some citations can take a while to be picked up. So to speed things up, what we do is called Tier 2 link building. What Tier 2 link building is where we build lower value, cheap links pointing to our citations, which helps Google see them and index them faster. This then indexes the citation, which lifts up your overall ranking because Google adds it to its knowledge base. But again, If you don't have your name, address, and phone number consistent, and Google indexes all of these citations, you're going to muddy the waters. So you want to make sure these citations are consistent with your address, name, and phone number. So now that we've got a prime address, we've got the exact keyword in our name, and Google is starting to trust our profile more, we need customers to trust our profile more. So this is where filling in the GBP comes into play. People often say you need to fill in your profile to rank higher. This isn't necessarily a big ranking factor, but it does definitely determine how many potential customers contact you. If you take two profiles, for example, one of them has stock photos or AI images, no real company vehicles, no team member photos, no customer photos, and a second profile which has a filled out description, filled out list of services, availability to book an appointment, and real photos of company vehicles, friendly team faces, and helping customers, it's very clear what a potential customer is going to call first. This is called CRO, or conversion rate optimization. So we want to fill out our business profile so that we can convert more of our potential visitors to customers. There's a standard process that we follow when filling out a profile, which is pretty simple. The first thing we fill out is our business description. We just go over details about the company, how it was created, how long we've been around, why somebody should work with us, and we briefly mention our primary keyword in there as well. Secondly, we fill out all of our services by adding in every single unique service we could target. In the case of roofing again, we would do roof repair, roof replacement, shingle repair, shingle replacement, anything specific that a user might search for. And we fill out a rich description based on the primary service and the primary area we're targeting for each individual service. On top of that, we will add in a tracking number to track all the leads that we are getting. Furthermore, we'll add in a booking link, so it's very easy for anybody to book in with our company without having to go back and forth. We'll set our basic attributes like our parking availability, our hours, and years in business. And then we fill in more visual aspects, and this is where it helps with our CRO. We design custom images, what we call product thumbnails, that have the company's branding and company pictures to build a unique, stylized list of the services we provide. We add these on as products and link them to our primary page on the website. We add in additional photos onto the profile, showing a mix of company vehicles, custom designed posters, and friendly faces doing customer service. This always helps people trust the business more as a real verified business. It's more appealing to the eye, and we will convert more of the leads we get. Now again, the fully built out profile with all the bells and whistles isn't necessarily going to rank higher than a competitor who has an exact keyword in the name, more reviews than us, and a better location, but it will help actual potential customers trust us more than them. So if we're struggling to get calls but we are ranking, we do always want to see if we can convert more of them by filling these out. But there's a second layer we can add on top of this to convert and gain even more trust, which moves us on to step 5, which is the website setup. Now, every maps listing doesn't need a website, but it does help. And if you want to rank number 1, you're going to want a website. Now, there's 2 approaches to go with. And what we always suggest is to get what's called an EMD, an exact match domain. What an exact match domain is where you put your primary keyword, again, let's use roof replacement Houston as an example, and you make that your website URL. So in this case, you would purchase the domain roofreplacementhouston.com. However, this is case by case, and it does depend on your specific situation. In the case that you're targeting a large geo, which is going to be a big city like Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles, Portland, then you would want to purchase an exact match domain. However, if you are in that city but you're targeting smaller suburbs like Spring, Conroe, and Katy, you likely wouldn't want to purchase an EMD, because if you purchase it for roof replacement Katy, you are going to almost isolate yourself for some of those smaller geos, and the search volume won't warrant it. We typically aim for a minimum of 300 plus search volume before we purchase an exact match domain, because otherwise an existing domain with strong authority is typically going to outperform it, and we're not going to have the downside of locking ourselves out of other areas. However, the upside to getting an EMD is real, because again, Google can't tell the difference if you're searching for a service or a website. So having both your profile name and your website targeting both those keywords is going to help you out a ton. Now, once you've decided if you want to do an exact match domain or just do a regular domain for your business, then you can move on to building out your website. Now, the website's job isn't always to rank. Typically, Google Maps listings will always outperform ranking in SERPs, that's the blue links below the maps, because those SERPs are often very competitive with franchises who have higher domain authority. Your domain authority is how many other websites mention you and how much Google trusts you. So if you're just starting out and you're wanting to rank primarily on maps, the website's job should mainly be to convert more of the potential customers that are finding you on maps into calls. When you build your site, you ideally want to have a basic hero section, which has your primary keyword in the H1, that's the first title on the page. You would want it to be in your meta title and your meta description, and you want the content to mention the area you provide the service. The best practice in local SEO is to build service and location specific pages. This is where you list out all of the locations that you work in, and you build out supporting pages that list all of the services you provide in that location. So for example, roof replacement Katie, roof repair Katie, shingle repair Katie, and you do that for Spring, Conroe, all of the other locations you service. The reason for this is, again, people were searching for specific things like roof replacement, roof repair. They might be in Katy, they might be in Spring, and this helps Google give a stronger connection that you do service that area and are the best recommendation for that search. Now, the cherry on top of this, and what we've been testing recently, is helping these rank higher in AI. Now, this is actually quite straightforward to rank higher in AI and not as complex as people make it. Number one is your float rate. This is how many times your website is mentioned online. So the best thing for this is Reddit mentions, getting your business mentioned in Reddit threads, or backlinks and citations. This is overall going to help AI engines see you more and thus trust you more from that exposure. The second thing is how you write your content. The best practice is to chunk your content. So each paragraph should be about a specific topic, and you should try and answer the question in that topic as quickly as possible, as well as in the first few lines of the article. You also want to break out this content with bullet points, tables, and any other easy way to format it, because it's easier for AI engines to crawl content that is formatted like this, less time consuming and easier for them to digest and pass that information back to a user. We've tested this across dozens of different countries and we've found it works a charm, especially in lower competitive markets. After a few weeks, you should have 10, 20, 30 different pages talking about all the locations you service, all the services you provide there, with chunk content that is easy for AI Overview, ChatGPT, and Claude to review and send to a user. Now, the thing that everybody always stresses about is reviews. Now, here's how we get as many reviews as we possibly can legally on a profile as quickly as possible. Now, as I'm sure you're probably aware, waiting on customers who say, yeah, sure, I'll leave a review, isn't always reliable. A lot of them forget, things pop up, and they never often do. So there's a specific way you need to get reviews, and there's two ways of going about this. Those two methods involve if you have customers already, or if you're brand new and don't have customers, we have a method for that as well. But before we get into those two methods, it's important to talk about what actually makes a review good and what actually contributes to a high ranking profile. The first thing is review velocity. It's not about having a lot of reviews, it's about how consistently and how quickly are they coming in. If Google is able to see an upward trend of your reviews, constantly getting another 2, 3, 4 every single week, rather than 1 or 2 every month, Google's going to think you're a real active business that is consistently providing service and rank you higher than somebody whose last review was 4 months ago. On top of that, they put a lot of weight into the quality of the review. If you go and search for something like roof repair, you'll notice that Google often embolds some of the reviews that target that keyword. So to strengthen your profile's authority and relevance for certain services, you want to make sure your customers are leaving reviews that talk about where they had the job done and the primary service that they got done by you. If you have all of your reviews mentioning these two things and you have half of the reviews of a competitor, you can still outrank them based on the speed and quality. But again, the business that's at the top of the list hasn't just got there by luck, they've got there because they have a system for generating those. So here's the 3 steps we use to get more reviews for our clients, even if they have no customers already. The first thing we do is a review blast. This is where we take the last 6 to 12 months worth of customers, we section them out and upload them to a custom software we built to automatically email and text those contacts requesting a review. Because the thing is, most people forget and they say they'll do it and they never do. So over the course of a week, we send them 1 to 5 messages, just touching base with them, reminding them to leave a review, giving them an easy link and pre-prompting them with some of the potential services that they had done to get the review perfect. We typically find a 20 to 30% conversion rate. So if you have 100 customers, you can expect to get an extra 20 to 30 reviews from using this method. The second thing is crew incentives. If your guys are out doing a job, you want to incentivize them to make sure they get a review. So give them a QR code that a customer can scan and leave a review on the spot. If you have your text, simply ask the customer to mention their name in the review. They'll get $50. The customer is going to be much more likely to leave it because they know they're helping somebody out and they're incentivized to do it on the spot, making it easy without needing to follow up. The third thing is consultations. Now, you cannot request fake reviews. However, you can do a service exchange. If you go to potential customers or go to a local event and offer to provide a free instruction on how to know if your roof needs to be repaired, or how to know if your switch panel needs to be up, or how to know if you need a panel upgrade, you can provide a free course or teach people how to know these things, and in exchange you can ask for a review. These help a ton, they don't cost you anything, and because the customer paid nothing, they're incentivized to leave a review to reciprocate the effort you put in to teaching them. You don't need any customers for this, and it's a really easy way to add an extra 20, 30, 40 reviews, all without paying for it. We often run all three of them in tandem to get a profile ranking, and on a new profile, we can see an uptick to get it into that top 3 pretty quickly from this. And if every week you're adding on 5% of the total reviews your competitor has to your own profile, you're gonna be catching up with them pretty quick. And that's it. Those are the 6 steps that we follow to rank hundreds of local businesses in the top 3 on maps every single week. And it's the same thing we did for our restoration client in San Antonio. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was what contributed to over $100,000 in revenue in just a handful of weeks. But the part I want to leave you with is that this isn't that fragile. If you get everything right and you do everything in a sequential order, all of these steps will stack on top of each other, strengthening them. And once you get to those top 3 and top 1 position, you're going to be very difficult to dethrone, giving you a reliable, consistent flow of inbound leads every single week. But it isn't just about getting leads and getting calls. I've watched countless businesses get countless leads, countless traffic, but they can't convert any of them to actual customers and can't close them. So I put together another video talking about exactly how you can convert more of your deals, turn more of your calls into customers, and make sure you're getting more bang for your buck for your top 3 ranking. So if you want to check that video out, you can click above, or you can click the link below in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you there.